adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. Starring that jet-age aerial ace, Rocket J. Squirrel. And his pal, Bullwinkle the Moose.
Hi, glad to see you again.
Likewise.
We got some great things on the show today.
Like what? Like what?
Well, you ought to know, Bullwinkle. You're in some of them.
Well, let's get started.
Last time, you remember, Bullwinkle Moose outsmarted us all by finding a way to get into the treasure chest of Monte.
Leave us turn the key.
Hokey smoke, it's just an old car.
Just an old car indeed. This here is a genuine 1903 Apperson Jackrabbit.
How do you know?
It said so in the last episode.
Our heroes decided to donate the car to the Frostbite Falls Museum and drove it away. But when Boris and Natasha spotted the license plate...
It says 14K, darling. Do you think...
I don't have to think, Natasha. I know. This is a 14-carat solid gold automobile.
Let's face it, Boris. These Americans really know how to live.
Come on, Natasha. Let's take the shortcut. We're about to go into the used car business.
On purpose?
And so a little later, as our boys rounded a turn, a strange sight met their eyes.
Madman Morris, the laughing Latvian, used car.
Well, we might as well stop.
How come?
Madman Morris has put up a roadblock.
It was true. An enormous tree trunk lay right across their path.
Well, ho, ho, ho. Howdy, friends and neighbors.
That must be Madman Morris himself.
Are you the laughing Latvian?
You were expecting the angry Afghan?
Can we get by here?
Certainly. The best buy in these parts, a late model Oscil 8.
An Oscil 8?
And I can make you an unbelievable offer on this junk pile you're driving.
Yeah, but we're not...
$26 and that's top money. Take it or leave it. Without the fender, $25.
You were right. It's unbelievable.
Sounds pretty good, Rock.
Bullwinkle, we were going to give this car to the museum.
But $26? That's antihistamine money, you know.
Antihistamine money?
It's not to be sneezed at.
Yeah, but we promised...
You get it, Rock? Not to be sneezed at.
Bullwinkle.
Little medical-type joke I threw in there. You get it?
I got it.
Thousands won't.
You said it. Well, is it a deal?
How much is the Oscil 8?
Never you mind about the price. I don't want you to clutter your little furry head with a lot of numbers.
That's kind.
Just sign here, easy payments for next 20 years.
What's it say way down here?
Don't read the fine print. You want to ruin those beautiful blue eyes?
They are kind of limpid pools, aren't they?
Is the car in good condition, Mr. Morris?
Of course, only one owner. A little old lady in Pennsylvania.
Hey, isn't that Pasadena?
Far from it, darling.
And she only used it on Sundays, didn't you, Granny?
That's right, darling. Va-va-voom.
You're the little old lady who drove this car?
Actually, I didn't drive it, darling. I used to sit in it and listen to the radio. Voom, voom.
The radio?
AM?
AM and PM. Oh, I love that Merton Marge.
Easy, Granny. You're dating yourself.
Va-voom, darling.
So how's about it?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, you've driven me to the wall. I surrender. Have no mercy on me.
All right.
I'll pay you $30 cash as is.
Wowee!
And I throw in 2 all-day suckers.
Sensation!
See what you can do if you know how to bargain, Bullwinkle?
Lucky you got a good head on you, Rock.
Yeah.
Or you'd have to wear your hat on your neck.
And in a twinkling, the papers had been signed, and Boris and Natasha drove off in our hero's 1903 Apperson Jackrabbit.
Hey, Madman Morris, wait a minute. You forgot something.
Yeah, where's the 2 suckers?
Well, the answer to that is so obvious we won't even wait around for it. But be with us next time for Boris Wheels and Deals or A Profit Without Honor.
I shall tell you about a lass named Esmeralda Fump. Esmeralda grew up from a very plain-looking young girl into an even plainer-looking young woman. There was a reason for this. She had labored long and hard in the castle of a very exacting king.
The moat is dirty, Esmeralda. Sweep it clean.
Yes, Your Majesty. Oh, and tomorrow is my birthday. Could I have an hour off?
You had an hour off 10 days ago, didn't you?
That was 10 years ago, Your Highness.
Reluctantly, he gave in, and so on the following day, plain-looking Esmeralda bought a small cake and spent a carefree hour beneath a large oak tree.
Oh, I am too weary to even blow out the candles. Oh.
And she dropped off to sleep. Now, we've all heard of a beauty nap, and that's exactly what 40 Winks did for Esmeralda. She returned to work without realizing that her plain looks were less plainer.
Esmeralda, this is my son, Prince Robin of Redbreast. And what happened to the wart on your nose?
It fell off, and how do you do, sir?
I do all right.
Esmeralda went back to sleeping and bottled up her emotions. No one as plain as she could ever hope to win the prince's heart. But while she was busy on the staircase, she passed by a mirror and...
How do you do, madam?
But that was no madam. It was her. Oh, dear, it was she.
Something has happened. Say, you don't suppose the nap I took...
It wasn't easy making a bed on the banister, but Esmeralda resolved to sleep right then and there to see if it improved her looks. Of course, she had no way of knowing that the Prince Robin of Redbreast never took the stairs.
Frightfully sorry, old girl.
Forget it.
I say, tell me your name, beauteous one.
You remember Esmeralda.
That evening, the prince took Esmeralda for a stroll through Lover's Lane. He was on the verge of proposing when he suddenly noticed that his companion had lost some of her radiance.
How singular. You seem to be uglying up on me.
Esmeralda knew for sure then that sleep and only sleep could make her beautiful, and Esmeralda bolted away.
Oh, you don't suppose I hurt her feelings?
Dawn the following day, and Esmeralda was back sweeping. Only, now she had a plan. No matter where she worked, she always took time for a cat nap. In the main hall, she slept in the fireplace. On the great table, she slept under glass. Even when dusting out the moat, she snoozed on an oyster bed. All this sleeping transformed her into a gorgeous woman.
I beg your pardon, Prince Robin, but can I start your collar?
No, but you can marry me.
The king insisted upon a courtship period of 3 days.
Enjoying the concert, my pet?
Oh, so very, very much.
There it was again. The warning sign that her supply of beauty was in need of replenishment.
Where are you off to?
I think I'll buy a snow cone.
Actually, she was looking for a restful spot in which to grab a 5-minute nap. Of all places, she chose to cuddle up inside a tuba. The audience and Prince Robin couldn't help but notice her as she popped in and out every time the tuba player played.
I say, my son, isn't that your fancy?
Yes, Daddy. She's buying a snow cone.
Later that evening at a ball given in honor of the impending marriage...
By the by, some foreign dignitaries would like to meet your inamorata.
It's in the garage, Daddy. Faulty differential.
In that case, how about introducing them to your sweetheart?
Esmeralda?
Yes.
I haven't the foggiest idea where she is at the moment.
A glance overhead would have told him, for Esmeralda was again taking a short snooze, unfortunately.
Really, my dear? I think you owe me an explanation.
And tearfully she explained how, without sleep, she reverted to her normal, unlovely self.
I don't believe you.
Well, to prove it, Esmeralda and Prince Robin sat there on the floor until 5 in the morning, and with each passing hour, her face grew plainer and plainer.
There, you see, my beauty is only sleep deep.
Double chins up, old girl. I can fix it.
Reaching out, he yanked on a bell cord that wasn't there, and out of nowhere appeared the court magician.
You rang Prince Robin of Redbreast?
Oh, yes, Freddy. Essie here can't seem to stay up late without uglying up. Claims she must have a beauty rest.
Shall I put her to sleep?
Just the opposite. Change her into a night owl.
It was a royal command and had to be obeyed.
Why the tears, Your Highness? Remember, you're not losing a son, you're gaining a daughter.
You mean I'm gaining an owl?
Yes, the magician had changed Esmeralda into a night owl, in the strictest sense of the word. But although he married an owl, Prince Robin's life became brighter than ever. You see, he was addicted to the game of 20 questions, and here Esmeralda proved invaluable.
Well, I bet I can stump you too with this one. Who was the 31st President of the United States?
Herbert?
Who?
There.
Right.
For those of you who want to soak up some extra knowledge, here's Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, Spongeheads. Today's topic is entitled How to Remove a Unwanted Guest from Your House and Make More Living Room. Supposing you are on your way home from the butcher shop with 14 hot dogs and you discover there is a 15th hot dog, one with large teeth and an appetite to match. It is obvious that the 15th hot dog, whom we shall call Spot, has designs on the 14 hot dogs. Just inches ahead of your pursuer, you arrive home safely. Flushed with victory, you examine your 14 hot dogs, only to find that they are now inside Spot. Going to the front door, you flang it open wide and point in the general direction of Boys Town, indicating you wish him to leave. Finding yourself on the outside with the door bolted, you attempt to gain entrance by way of the chimney. En route, you make a sad discovery. Spot is now brewing himself a spot of tea in the fireplace. Fighting fire with fire, we ignite the couch. Soon the fire is completely out of control. The house goes up in smoke. But when the fire has gone out, you discover that Spot has not. 2 days later in your rebuilt home, you sit happily in your Morris chair, finally rid of your unwanted guest.
But Mr. Know-It-All, how did you get rid of him?
Who?
Spot.
Oh, quite simple. I used Spot Remover.
I'll give you a hint as to where we are going today, Sherman. What do I have in my hand?
A pitcher of water.
What do I have in my other hand?
A pitcher of Uncle Louie.
Correct. Now, I hold the pitcher over the picture. What am I going to do?
Looks like you're going to water Uncle Louie.
Almost, Sherman. We are going to Waterloo. For the historic battle, you know, in which Napoleon was defeated by Wellington. The year 1815, the place, Belgium. When we arrived, the 3-day battle was reaching a climax. The French troops were below in a valley, and there on a hill to the north was Wellington's army poised to attack.
What are they waiting for, Mr. Peabody?
The command to attack.
Who's supposed to give it?
Obviously not that horse. The eyes of every soldier were focused on a lone steed standing in front, riderless. From the insignia on the saddle, that horse belonged to the Duke of Wellington.
Well, where is he?
The answer came from a sergeant standing nearby.
We've been waiting for him for 3 days. He's the only one who can shout charge.
Did he receive orders to report to Waterloo?
I gave them to him myself before we left Blighty.
Then it's obvious what has happened. You see, there are 2 Waterloos. I instructed the sergeant to do nothing until we returned, and Sherman and I left for Waterloo, Denmark. And there we found the Duke of Wellington at Waterloo Hot Springs taking a mineral bath.
What a delightful way to spend a war. Hand me that bone, won't you?
Your pardon, your lordship, but what are you doing?
My orders were to come to Waterloo and take bone apart. So far, I've taken 4 bones apart.
But, Mr. Wellington, I mean your dukeship. You're at the wrong Waterloo.
We explained the error and urged that he return to the scene of the actual battle.
Get my carriage immediately.
Moments later, we were rolling back toward Belgium, or so we thought.
Gee, Mr. Peabody, look out the window. I didn't know there was an Eiffel Tower in Belgium.
There isn't. Driver!
Oui, monsieur.
I was answered by a French accent holding a French pistol.
What does this mean, Mr. Peabody?
It means we are being duke-napped. The carriage didn't come to a stop until we reached the Louvre Museum. At gunpoint, we were forced into a large room containing famous paintings. The door was locked securely and a guard stationed outside.
Charge!
Not yet, your lordship. I'll tell you when. It was indeed a stroke of luck that we had been placed in that particular room, for the paintings on the wall gave me an idea. I rapped on the door, it opened, and the guard entered.
Sacré bleu, they are guns!
So he thought. In reality, we had taken positions in a large picture frame. Sherman and I posing as Whistler and his dog, and Wellington as Blue Boy.
After them!
The way was clear, and we quickly made our departure. Once out in the street, we stopped to catch our breath. And so did a squad of guards who had just turned the corner.
Look, a man, a boy, and a bow wow.
Quick, Sherman, pick up that stick, yell, fetch, and throw it. Sherman complied.
Fetch, Mr. Peabody.
I ran after the stick, picked it up, then I too yelled, fetch, and threw it. This time Wellington retrieved it, yelled,
Fetch.
and threw it. It was Sherman's turn, and in such a manner we fetched our way out of danger.
Very fetching.
On the outskirts of Paris, we looked for a conveyance that would enable us to get to our destination. The only thing we saw was a hay wagon.
Shall we get aboard, Mr. Peabody?
Yes, we'd best make hay while the sun shines. Sherman took the reins while the Duke and myself sought concealment in the hay. We were making good time until we reached the Belgian border, and there we were stopped by French sentries. It was a terrible time for the Duke to come down with an attack of hay fever.
Spies! After them!
Sherman urged our horses onward while the sentries set off in pursuit on sleek, speedy chargers.
They're gaining on us, Mr. Peabody. We'll never outrun them.
Then we must slow them down. How are you at pitching hay, your lordship? Well, he wasn't very good, but all that mattered was that we left a trail of hay behind us, and the aforementioned sleek, speedy chargers, unable to resist their favorite fodder, gorged themselves.
This is no time to stop and eat. Giddy up!
But an army travels on its stomach, and so do sleek, speedy chargers. 2 hours later, we were at the front, and Wellington was astride his mount.
We made it. Now all he has to do is sound the charge.
But it seemed the poor Duke was so unnerved by the recent events, he was speechless.
If he won't speak, the army won't charge.
Then he will speak. Your lordship, I have just received word that your house in England has new wall-to-wall carpeting. How do you want it fastened to the floor? With glue or with a tack?
Attack.
That was the word we were waiting for.
Well, there he goes, Mr. Peabody. What a great soldier.
Not only that, Sherman, but after the war, he became a great playwright under the name of Arthur Wellington.
Arthur Wellington, a playwright?
Of course. You hear his name mentioned in theaters all over the world. At the conclusion of every play, the audience rises, applauds, and shouts, Arthur! Arthur!
Well, in our last episode, Boris Badenov went into business as Madman Morris, a shady used car dealer. Of course, he only had one car on the lot, and that was made of cardboard.
When I say low overhead, folks, I mean low overhead.
In minutes, Boris had flim-flammed our heroes into buying a paper convertible and selling him their Epperson jackrabbit. Of course, when Bullwinkle went to kick a tire on their new car...
Oh, my gosh.
Gee, I don't know my own strength.
Bullwinkle, this is a catastrophe.
It's supposed to be a convertible.
Meanwhile, the two villains had just crossed the bridge at Buzzard's Gulch.
Why were you stopping, Boris?
Did you see that charming wooden bridge we just passed?
What's so charming about the wooden bridge?
It burns, that's what.
And the crafty fiend set fire to his end of the bridge just as our heroes set foot on the other side.
Rocky, the bridge is on fire!
But if we stop now, they'll get away.
The situation poses a rather precise ethical dilemma fraught with portent, don't it?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I heard it on Meet the Press.
There's only one thing to do, Bullwinkle.
Get a dictionary!
No, I gotta fly through the fire.
You sure that's the only way, Rock?
No, but if you're gonna be a hero, you gotta do stupid things every once in a while.
Okay, ready, Allie!
Oh!
And Bullwinkle flung Rocky right into the flames. Meanwhile, Boris and Natasha were in the office of a notorious receiver of stolen property.
I'm Andy Grift, your friendly neighborhood fence. You say you got a car made of gold?
You sir it. Here's a fender for you to test, Andy.
It don't look like gold.
It's painted. Underneath is 14 karat.
What's it worth, darling?
Well, offhand, I'd say at least...
Yes.
$2 even.
$2?
For a gold fender?
Gold my eye, that's 10.
10? Oh, boy.
No, you've done it again, Boris.
But I could swear.
Not on this program, darling. Face it, the car is worthless.
Not quite. We still need it.
For what?
To make getaway. Look up there.
Yike!
Yike, indeed, for high in the air, sand scorched, but every furry inch a hero was Rocky the Flying Squirrel. Now, let's hear it out there for Rocky.
Thanks, folks.
Faster, Boris, he's gaining on us.
The car is too heavy, Natasha. We got to lighten it. Throw out everything loose.
Well, the two crooks threw out the spare tire, the headlights, the engine cover, the fenders, even the doors.
He's still gaining on us.
Open the trunk, Natasha. Maybe there's something heavy in there.
Boris' trunk is full of gold pieces.
And they're heavy. Get rid of them.
And Natasha began throwing away shovelfuls of gold coins.
It's working, darling. It's costing us $1 million, but we're gaining on him.
All that gold I can't watch.
And Boris covered his eyes. A rather serious mistake, for the car slewed around and headed right back to where it started from, the edge of Buzzard's Gulch.
Oop.
Boris, we're falling.
Raskolnikov, if those goody goods think they...
Boris, do me one favor before we hit.
Certainly, Poopsie.
Shut up your mouth!
Meanwhile, Rocky and Bullwinkle were examining a handful of gold coins.
Well, Bullwinkle, we got the treasure of Monte Zoom.
Shucks, I knew we would all along.
Huh?
Sure, in a cartoon, we always have a happy ending, you know. We walk off arm in arm into a cartoon sunset without a scratch on us and...
Gee, an unhappy ending.
Yeah, this must be one of those adult cartoons.
Well, we'll see about that. Probably next time in the further adventures of Bullwinkle.
Well, I guess that about wraps up another Rocky show.
Certainly hope you enjoyed it. I did. I always say...
Bullwinkle, time for us to go.
Already? Okay, but first, here are some of the people who made this show impossible.
That's not all.
My fingers get tired. Oop! Got away from me again.
Well, see you next time. Ready, Bullwinkle? Alley!
Oop!